All right, I'm done fighting with the machine. I had a power outage, so for those of you in the chat, if you can't hear me, you might need to hit F5. We're just going to pretend that we took our commercial break, because it took about that long to get everything back up again. The joys of living in the middle of nowhere, because occasionally when the trees get a little too big and things get windy, then things go nuts. Do me a favor and talk for a second so I can make sure we're broadcasting, because otherwise it's going to sound weird if I check with my phone. Stacy, did I lose you? Maybe I lost Stacy. Stacy! Where you go, Stacy? It says you're still here. I don't know what's going on tonight. Other than apparently we weren't supposed to do this show. Yeah, but it's weird because now I can't hear you. Hang on, let me try to call you again. We try again. Oh, weird. Now it says she's unavailable. What in the... Hello?
Hello, I hit type all by myself.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It says
Twitter and must have hit something because I don't have a mouse back yet. iMac pad, and I screwed.
Nice. Well,
so I didn't get an answer from chat though.
Hang on, I'll check on that in a minute.
All right.
It shows we're still broadcasting, so we're gonna assume we are. But I'm still trying to...
I'm like, hello, can you hear? Al and Jeff are supposedly there.
Well, yeah, but there for a minute, nobody could hear you because I couldn't hear you either.
Oh, no. I'm just like, can you hear anything? Because I still have a lot to say.
Well, if you'll talk... Now that everybody can hear you, assuming they can hear you, if you'll just start saying whatever it is you have a lot to say, I can check to make sure we're broadcasting.
Okay, that's awesome. So, Colorado. Should we discuss Colorado? I think we should. It's very, very strange to me that if you go under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which describes insurrection and such things, you continue to scroll past and you go to Section 5, which explains to you how all of this is going to be enforced. And in Section 5, it says it is the province of Congress. And so Congress then went and made a law about insurrection, which in order to be guilty of such a thing, you would have to be charged under. Do you know who's never been charged under that law?
Yeah, no, Donald Trump's never actually been charged with insurrection or even inciting an insurrection because they didn't think they could make that stick.
And neither has any defendant for January 6th. The other thing that's very confusing to me is because this is federal law, it would be completely beyond the purview of anyone in Colorado, a district court or the state Supreme Court, to find these people guilty of anything up to and including Donald Trump, who, again, has never been charged under the law passed by Congress. Certainly never convicted. So I don't know how you convict him on a charge he's never been charged with on a federal law as a state court.
Well, that's just it. Colorado State Supreme Court basically de facto declared him an insurrectionist. So there's no way in hell it's going to stand up.
You can't do that, though, because there's a law.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. There's no way in hell it's going to stand up. And the thing that pisses me off the most is they keep making me defend a guy that I actually can't stand. It's kind of annoying.
I'm not going to vote for him. I wish you would stop making me defend him. But here's the other thing that I found so incredible today. So here's all these DeSantis supporters defending Donald Trump from this pernicious charge and still saying, guys, can we do something different here? Because this is just going to, hold us back and be a problem. And Trump supporters are doxing DeSantis supporters. It's like, okay, one group of people here has principles and the other people just don't.
It's all just
they
nuts.
just don't.
I mean, all of this is just so crazy to me because I get that, it's a primary and you're supposed to pick up the banner for the guy the guy or gal you want to get elected and march off to war. But I have never seen primaries anything in recent history like the ones that Trump has been involved in because they're just nasty and they're terrible.
Well, and I honestly think Trump supporters this cycle, and I was one of Ricky Vaughn, also known as what the fuck is his name? Going to jail for his meme.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his name.
Y'all know who I'm talking about. I knew him as Ricky Vaughn. Both Sam and I were two of his primary targets in 2016. Along with his buddy Juliet Isabel and a couple other folks. Yeah, they were great. They were awesome. His supporters now are actually worse. I just mute them. I block them. Whatever. I literally have no time for you people.
I mean, the funny thing is...
Here's the thing. 2024, for the first time in my life, feels like a must-win election. Okay? If you look at the 10 points of tyranny, we're like on 8. This is a problem. All right? Unless you can tell me how we're going to fight all this legal bullshit and fund our candidates down ticket so that any Republican that's elected can actually get things done and reverse some of this nonsense, I don't even want to talk to you. And you can't even tell me at this point whether the candidate you're voting for in the primary is going to be convicted of a felony. And, guys, if he's just the nominee, he can't pardon himself.
This is true. But with everything that's going on with all the Supreme Court crap that's coming to a head now, I don't think he'll be convicted of anything before the election. I know they're trying really hard to make it happen, but I don't think it'll happen. That's not my concern. My concern is I've been having this discussion with Dr. Arrington on Twitter because he's convinced that Donald Trump can make it across the finish line and that he's going to clean house like he promised to do the first 4 years.
No, he can't do that in a single term to start with. He is term limited to 1 term. Well, he will not have the backing of either house of Congress.
Well, so my issue...
So he's not going to pass any fucking laws, just like he didn't last time, except for the jailbreak one, okay? And it's all going to be EOs. And when everybody gets pissed at him again because he can't keep his mouth shut and he pisses off the whole country and we get Gavin Newsom in 2028, he's just going to roll back any shit that Trump did by EO, just like happened this time.
Well, yes, you are 100% correct if he gets that far, but I don't think he will. Here's the issue. The cheat machine that worked so well in 2020, all of that shit is still in place. Why do you think the elections for the last 2 cycles have gone as weird as they have? Because listen very carefully to the words the leftists use. Our national elections are impossible to be messed with. The problem is we actually don't have national elections. We have regional elections with national consequences. And you put enough pinkies on enough scales in enough cities, and that's all it takes. And that's exactly what we saw happen in 2020. Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to talk about it, but we watched it happen on live TV.
Well, but what we saw in 2020 was the overall effect of Zuckbucks, right? It was blue cities in red states where they put in an incredible amount of money to register voters who would never have voted in any other case. And because of the pandemic exceptions, it made it exceptionally hard for them to vote. So some states rolled that shit back, Georgia being one of them, right? Like, Georgia doesn't want to be the next Florida. I promise you that. Okay? Florida used to be ridiculous. Like, we all question Florida's results, like, ever since 2000, right? Broward County. Between Jeb Bush, I hate to say it, and Ron DeSantis, they cleaned that the hell up. Okay? Georgia's doing the best that it can right now to clean Fulton County up. It's actually removed people from Fulton County like, yeah, you can't be in this position anymore, okay? Because you've screwed it up for years on end, and last time, oh boy, howdy, right? So there's a lot of states that have fixed those things, but there's a lot of swing states like Michigan and Pennsylvania who actually codified some of the fucked up things they did. Okay? That's the problem.
Well, yeah, no, and that's exactly what I meant, though, because the thing about it is the data that took forever to come out about the 2020 election is finally starting to come out, and you can see in, even Nate Silver's put it out. There's a graph that shows from like the right around the time that we shut everything down because everybody was like, yeah, we're just taking our ball and going home because water leaks, blah, 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 blah. So about 3 hours later, from about 3 a.m. Eastern till about 5 a.m. Eastern, there's this giant spike that basically just shows Biden just shooting straight up above Donald Trump, which would mean for that 2 hours that every vote that was counted was 100% in that 2 hour span in several different places. Every vote that came in was 100% for Joe Biden. You tell me how that's statistically possible.
Well, it's not even statistically possible. But all I'm saying is, like, there have been safeguards put in some places, okay? And there have been governors who've said, we're not going to have this happen here, right? There are governors who have not in Arizona and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, okay? So, yeah, it's going to be a slog to get there. But what everybody has to understand is and it is quite possible, all right, that Donald Trump gets convicted of a felony between now and Election Day, the only people the Democrats are training that news on are not you and me. We're going to vote for him anyway if you make us, right? I mean, come on, all right? They're focusing that on the normies, and the normies don't pay attention. They're busy with young children. They're working full time. They don't have time to be concerned about this. They're getting their news, and they're like, what? He got convicted? Oh, fuck that. I'm not voting for him, right? That's the way that's going to go. They're trained on the normies. And here's the other thing, and I love this because I am going to laugh my butt off even if I pull the lever for this man. Well, and I won't pull the lever for him in this case. I'll vote for RFK, and I really don't care. But dude, they want you to believe that the Koch brothers are spending $70 million in Iowa in less than 30 days. Trump only spent $81 million on his entire administrative budget for the entire 2020 election. Okay? What the Koch brothers are flashing at Trump is what he actually needs. Okay? And that's cash. Because anything donated to the RNC or to the Trump campaign generally is all going into Trump legal fees. And if you don't know that, you're stupid. So, the Koch brothers flashed $70 million in 30 days for their girl, Nikki Haley. All that is a dowry. They want their little globalist Cheney in a dress to be vice president. And I know this because on a podcast today, where they asked her 3 times, would you be Trump's VP? She refuses to answer.
Well, if she was...
That is the plan. All these Trump grifters, Julie Kelly, fucking Laura Loomer, Alex, the rest of them, okay? They're like, oh, DeSantis is the globalist. You know he's not. Nikki Haley is.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley's the bushy Cheney in a dress, okay, that's been backed by the WEF and BlackRock, and they're floating cash in front of Trump. And here's the interesting thing, right? Tucker Carlson saying, I will not vote for a Trump-Haley ticket. Don Jr. saying, not going to happen. Ivanka Trump, I really like her. I think she'll be great. The last one to get Trump's ear is the one that's going to determine whether Nikki Haley's your VP, and I am going to die laughing for weeks, okay? If it becomes a Trump-Haley ticket, looking at all the grifters trying to bend their own brains to make it okay to vote for that.
Well, I already know how they're going to do it. They're gonna look at him the same way they look at Mike Pence. If he makes Haley the VP, this is the way we bring all the regular people back in.
You ain't bringing any regular people that voted for Trump once and would have voted for Ron DeSantis back with Nikki Haley. I promise you.
Oh, I didn't say it was going to work. I'm just saying that's how they're going to justify it.
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
Mike Pence was for the evangelicals.
Anyway, I'm gonna need somebody from in the booth to go find me some brain bleach so I can get rid of the Cheney and address image that is now stuck in my brain. I hate you.
Dude, you wanted to talk about butt action in the Senate.
That's not Cheney and address, though. I wasn't going to be that visual. I was just going to make jokes about...
Okay, like, policy-wise, she's Dick Cheney in address. She's never met a war she doesn't like.
No, anyway.
Her kids ain't going to the front line, but my friend, who I just talked to last night... Her son, who is actually a sheriff, like has a real job and is also a reservist, he's gone right now. And when he comes back on the 22nd, as of January 3rd, he's leaving again, and he's going to Iraq and Syria. Places we're supposedly not at war anymore.
I was going to say, I thought we were pretty much done over there.
Yeah, no. As a reservist, he's going to Iraq and Syria. And prior to this, he was in Georgia. And they were supposed to be training Ukrainians. But do you know what he said they did? He said they just blew shit up right on the Russian border to fuck with people.
Oh. I don't know.
We are not a serious nation.
I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway.
I would like to be a serious nation again.
Maybe that should be Ron DeSantis' slogan, Make America Serious Again.
That would be great.
Although somebody would shorten it to Massa, and then we'd be in all kinds of trouble.
Massa? What's Massa?
Apparently you haven't watched any movies about slaves lately.
Oh. Well, no, that's got an H at the end.
That doesn't really sound
And it's two S's.
Yeah, they would still... They would draw out the pronunciation on purpose. Anyway, believe it or not, we're about out of time.
Whatever. It's like, I just want to be a serious country. Like, is there another word that we could use? I don't know.
Make America legitimate again?
Well, it can't be great. I know that.
Yeah, the whole MAGA thing just needs to die at this point.
It's not even a thing. You cannot give me a consistent set of policies that are MAGA.
I know, but I'm just saying the entire acronym just needs to die right now.
It used to be a whole bunch of things. And again, I'm going to say this out loud, which I've said on Twitter 1,000 times. The only lasting things I got from Trump, okay, was a half-done peace deal in the Middle East, okay, a jailbreak bill, and court and judicial nominees that Mitch McConnell had as much to do with as he did. And as it turns out, Kavanaugh and Amy Barrett vote with the libs 90% of the time.
All right, so, well, I hate to cut you off, but we're over time. We got to go.
Yeah, I know. But, like, what did I get out of those first 4 years?
Heartburn and headaches. That's kind of what I got. All right, back next week, everybody. We got to go. We're late.